Hey guys, it's Joel with Air Ivanhoe. I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about this generator. This is the Honda EU1000 and this is a 4-stroke Honda generator. So this is the air breather that's on and that's off, and this is really for traveling and for long-term storage. Off does not allow air to go in, on does allow air to go in. So in the off position, it's only going to run for a couple minutes at a time, and then there's going to be so much suction on that gas tank that it's going to shut the engine off. So if your engine is running for 2 or 3 minutes and then shutting off over and over again, have a look at this air breather on the top. Make sure it's set to the on position. It's just like a boat tank. If that little cap on the top is closed and your boat tank starts collapsing, eventually your engine stops. This is the same exact thing. On the side of this generator, you've got a choke and you've got an on-off switch down here. Usually, to start this, you put the choke on, you make sure that this is in the on position, and then you give it a pull. As soon as it starts running, shut the choke off. On the front of this generator right here is a button that says Eco Throttle. It stands for economy throttle. There's on, there's off. Way higher on the RPM, okay? And again, there is the on position. Let me shut this off right now. Eco Throttle off is really a construction setting. It's meant for power tools. The other use for Eco Throttle off would be is if you're starting some heavy electrical loads like chest freezers and fridge freezers where they've got a compressor that's getting close to that 1,000-watt mark or even above it. Eco Throttle off is full throttle, and let that electrical engine kick over, and then once it's kicked over, you'll have a far lower draw rate. Typically, I would run this thing Eco Throttle on 100% of the time. The only exception to that would be if I'm running construction equipment, or at the very start, I might run it Eco Throttle off, economy throttle off for 10 or 15 seconds just to let the big electrical loads kick over, and that would be stuff like electric fridge, fans, electric chest freezer, and other heavy electrical engines. And at the start of most electrical engines, there's a big surge, and then once the engine starts, it comes way back down again. On the side of this guy is your access to your oil dipstick. There's a screw right here. You can use a Leatherman, you can use a screwdriver, and if you're in a real pinch, you can use a butter knife. Here's your oil dipstick in the bottom. There's a little diagram right here, and it tells you that the oil should be flush with the top of the threads. So when I open this up, it should not be pouring out. It should be flush with the top of the threads, and there it is, right there at the perfect level. So you can tip it on its side a little bit to fill it, but when it's sitting flat, it shouldn't be pouring out. If it is pouring out, let it pour out. You've overfilled it. For a lot of guys, they would think, you know, more oil is better, but that's actually not the case. You're going to have a couple of problems if you overfill it with oil. The first problem that you may have if you overfill it with oil is that it may start, but not be able to produce electricity, and or not be able to run at a high RPM to produce enough electricity for heavy loads. The second issue that you may have is excessive smoking coming out of the exhaust because it's burning some of that oil. The more likely problem that you're actually going to have is you won't be able to pull it over. The oil is going to essentially hydrolock the cylinders. The solution is to open up the oil dipstick, let some oil drain out, and once it stops pouring out, cap it and start it again. On the front of these guys, you've got an electrical board. If there's a bunch of rainwater pounding into the front of this thing, you're going to short circuit your board in the front. So keep this dry. Inside of this is a 10 amp fuse. And I've never seen one of these things pop, but it is possible that this fuse could pop and it could be running but not actually producing electricity. The more likely thing that's going to happen is that you are actually going to have an error on the front of this generator, which is going to be right here, that says overload alarm. So I'm going to start this up, and we should see a green light right here. So there's your green light. There's two other potential lights right here. One says overload alarm, and so that is going to be red if you trip it. And that's more likely to be the breaker that's going to pop. The generator's still going to be running, it's just not going to produce any electricity. The solution, shut the generator off and then turn it back on again, reduce your power consumption, unplug something, and then it should work. The other one says oil alert, and that's going to go red if you have low oil. The more likely thing that's actually going to happen is if you have low oil, it's going to run for 10 seconds and shut off. over and over again. As the generator runs and starts splashing the oil around, this is your oil sensor and this is your oil line, and it's going to start splashing that oil around. The oil sensor is going to come above the oil line. It's going to shut the generator off automatically. So these do have a low oil automatic shut off safety for them. And so that would be the second thing that I would check for if you are having your Honda generator basically shut off every 30 seconds or 60 seconds, is check the oil level, because you might not catch it in time to see this red light pop on. You just might not really be understanding why your generator is shutting off over and over again. And that's your quick tutorial on the Honda 1000 watt generators.